Being that I was a person that was a Democrat for 20 years, walked away from the Democratic Party, and did have a slight case of Trump derangement syndrome, it's interesting to revisit certain people on the Republican side that I hated when I was a Democrat. But then I was like, you know what? Have an open mind, make sure you know what you're talking about. Make sure you've revisited it with your new kind of clearer vision that you have. But something always bothered me about James Lankford. I have to tell you, he was one of those Republican senators. I was like, I do not trust that guy. I don't care what he says. I don't care. I don't care. I do not trust him. I think he's a snake. I think he's a coward. There was just something instinctual about it. And I got to tell you that I have to say my suspicions were confirmed this morning when I saw this article in The Hill. GOP Senator Lankford apologizes to black constituents for opposing election results. Folks, this is exactly the kind of person that the Republican Party needs to be primarying as soon as he's up for re-election. I don't know exactly when that is, but as soon as he's up for re-election, if this guy does not have a primary component, then you are not doing your job. I will do my very best to make sure I'm coming out against all of these cowardly Republicans that supported impeachment, that opposed the objections to the Electoral College, because frankly, that is a completely legitimate constitutional process. There was nothing seditionist about it, and they have to stop apologizing. This is why Republicans always lose, because they are cowards and they apologize when they really, really shouldn't. Let's read what happened. Senator James Lankford on Thursday wrote a letter apologizing to black constituents for opposing the Electoral College results, saying he didn't realize the attempt would cast doubt on the validity of votes coming out of predominantly black communities. In a letter addressed, "My friends in North Tulsa," obtained by Tulsa World, Lankford acknowledges that his actions caused a firestorm of suspicion among many of his friends, particularly in black communities around the state. "I was completely blindsided, but I also found a blind spot." Dude, James Lankford just bent the knee like a coward. Lankford last month signed onto a letter from Senator Ted Cruz saying he would vote against the Electoral College results unless a commission was formed to provide a 10-day audit of President Trump's debunked claims of voter fraud. Now, side note, someone in Texas was just arrested yesterday for voter fraud based on Project Veritas reporting. So the Hill and all these publications can claim debunked all they want. Someone was literally just arrested. Okay? I have never believed in the crazy stuff. I've never believed in the Sidney Powell Kraken stuff. I called it very early on that was BS. However, there are still many legitimate questions to be had, and I frankly hope that people continue to investigate this after the inauguration of Joe Biden, which is going to happen, and everyone just needs to accept that. It's the way it is, but it doesn't mean that James Lankford is not a coward for what he's doing. He later backed down from attempts to continue the challenge after a mob of Trump supporters attacked the Capitol. Me. The senator wrote in his letter that it was never his intention to disenfranchise any voter or state, but said he wanted to resolve any outstanding questions before President Joe Biden is inaugurated on Wednesday. "What I did not realize was all of the national conversation around states like Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Michigan was seen as casting doubt on the validity of votes coming out of predominantly black communities like Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Detroit. After decades of fighting for voting rights, many black friends in Oklahoma saw this as a direct attack on their right to vote, for a vote to matter, and even a belief that their votes made an election in our country illegitimate." Dude, if you trust James Lankford after this, he has been gotten to by the SJW mob. He has bent the knee. He is not to be trusted, and he should absolutely be primaried when he comes up for re-election. But James Lankford is not the only coward in the Republican Party. Folks, I give you Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney, the rhino neocon Liz Cheney, who voted in favor of impeaching Donald Trump, and she's going to lose her seat for it. I would be shocked if she was able to keep her seat. And the reason that I was shocked, that I would be shocked rather, if she was able to keep her seat, is that the Republican Party in Wyoming is pissed. They are pissed at Liz Cheney for voting in favor of impeaching Donald Trump. Let's read what they had to say to her, because this is like a slap upside the head, figuratively, YouTube, not literally, figuratively, to say, you do not represent us anymore, Liz Cheney. The wind in Wyoming has been horrendous today. The gusts up to 65 miles per hour. There is nothing compared to the whirlwind created by Representative Cheney's announcement that she will be voting to impeach President Trump and her subsequent follow-through of doing just that. There has not been a time during our tenure when we have seen this type of outcry from our fellow Republicans, with the anger and frustration being palatable in the comments we have received. Our telephone has not stopped ringing, our email is filling up, and our website has seen more traffic than at any previous time. The consensus is clear that those who are reaching out to the party vehemently disagree with Representatives Liz Cheney's decision and actions. Consider the overwhelming interest in this issue. The Wyoming Republican Party leadership felt that it was important to share with Representative Cheney the nature of the comments and outcry we have received. By announcing her decision to vote for the impeachment, Representative Cheney denied President Trump due process. She judged the evidence before it was presented and refused to listen to the arguments made. Wyoming voted for the re-election of President Trump by a margin of 70% to 30%. 195,000 Wyomingites, I didn't even know that was a word, voted for President Trump. Representative Cheney is in Washington, D.C. to represent Wyoming's interest, not the interest of Beltway elites. President Trump did not incite anyone to riot. Read the transcript of what he said and watch the video. We have watched the leftists and progressives in this country riot, burn, kill, maim, loot, and destroy cities and communities for 7 months, often with Democratic leaders egging them on, bailing them out, and refusing to condemn their actions. Representative Cheney has aligned herself with leftists who are screaming that what happened last Wednesday is the worst thing ever in our history, or similar such claims. This is absurd and shows their lack of knowledge of history, as well as their willingness to skew facts that to further their corrupt agenda. The Democrats are using this to smear the entire conservative movement and all Republicans. By voting to impeach Representative Cheney is helping them in that effort. Wyoming's way of life and our entire economic future is under attack. We count on our elected officials to protect us. The move to impeach President Trump shows that we have a real reason to fear what is going to happen under the Biden administration. This move to impeach President Trump makes that much more difficult for our country to solve serious problems we have, including Chinese and Iranian aggression, our overwhelming debt, and the catastrophic response to COVID-19. These are only some of the themes of the comments we have received. We, as a party, respect our elected officials and assume that they will respect and represent their constituents. We are receiving the message loud and clear that what happened yesterday is a true travesty for Wyoming and the country. Now, I of course know nothing about Wyoming politics, but you know who does? This guy right here, Joseph Cato, and he was tweeting about how crazy it is that the Republican Party in Wyoming wrote this letter to Liz Cheney and how much in danger she is of losing this seat that she has held for eons as daughter of Dick Cheney and all this stuff, and people think that she could never lose this seat. She is the establishment, like third-ranking Republican in Congress. She's gonna lose her seat, man. Mark my words. Here, I'll go through some of the tweets, and we have to go from the bottom up because that's how Twitter goes. The Wyoming GOP establishment is not standing behind Cheney after this. Her surname only goes so far, as I anticipated. No question that she loses re-election, in my opinion. Both the grassroots and the gentry wings of the Wyoming GOP are aligning against her. Do you think she realizes this? The Wyoming GOP, one of the most powerful and entrenched state parties in the country, is to be commended for its bold, uncompromisingly honest assessment of what Cheney has done. This is what real leadership looks like. Pity that all of the GOP establishment is not like this. The Wyoming GOP is a bedrock of colossal ranching, mining, and finance interests, the latter of which is not woke. It only cares about minimal taxation. With its strongly individualistic yet oddly populist voter base, it has far too much power and money to waste time with Cheney. And then he keeps going. For context, the Wyoming GOP holds the governorship without even minor issue. It controls the Wyoming Senate 28-2. You read that correctly. And the Wyoming House 51-9. Ditto. And the mayoralty of its largest city. It is a behemoth which Cheney needs, not the other way around. Crossing the Wyoming establishment is insane. Crossing the Wyoming GOP, reliable voters, and the party establishment is bonkers on the most epic scale. Cheney has retired herself. Someone will have an unexpected career boost from this, which shall probably last for life. To give you an idea of how powerful the Wyoming GOP is, it makes the Florida GOP look like a junior varsity player. No joke. Even the urban core of Cheyenne, Wyoming's capital and largest city, is represented by GOPers in the state legislature. Cheney crossing this is almost unbelievable. The Wyoming GOP is not stupid. They are used to wielding absolute power over their own politics, and they will vote strategically as such. I think that Wyoming GOPers are sure to consolidate behind a single serious anti-Cheney candidate who will win by more than 30 points. The Wyoming GOP does not care about her surname. It is interested in ranching, mining, and providing legal tax haven for international finance, as well as keeping its individualistic, populist voting base happy. Wyoming GOPers are surely not giving any special consideration to Cheney. No joke, guys. Wyoming GOP is so powerful that it does not even bother updating their Twitter account. It is successful and effective on such a level that it simply says stuff on its website, and that is the end of the story. Now, this is what real political power looks like, and I could go on and on and on and on. Listen. The Republican Party has a choice to make after this. They have a choice to make. Do they want to continue with their business as usual, cowardly Republicans who never do anything, who talk and scream about voter fraud, election integrity, and then never do anything about it? Do they want to continue to vote for people who like big tech censorship is bad and then never do anything about it? Or worse, yes, do what James Lankford and Liz Cheney did and specifically go against the people that elected them to office. Is that who you want representing you? Or do you want someone new? I'm gonna bet that 2022 is gonna be a really interesting year. We're gonna see a lot of interesting candidates, and I hope the Republicans, generally speaking, have the balls to elect someone to office that is actually going to do stuff instead of just looking to have their little political position that they can sit back in and say nice things and posture and give speeches and then not actually do anything when push comes to shove. We'll see if Republicans have the courage. I'm 50-50 on whether or not they do, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that are really going to be pushing for this change, and I think it's going to actually be a really, really exciting couple of years. All right, guys, that's all I have for this video. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, leave a comment to feed that YouTube algorithm, give it a thumbs up to help you see more of my content when you log into YouTube. The other thing I would ask is, because of all the tech censorship, I'm really trying to get as many people as possible into my Locals community. Locals is a standalone community that is going to be really insulated from all the tech censorship that's going on. Lots of different creators are on there. I'm on there at kb.locals.com. You can get the URL right below me in that little box. Scott Adams is on there. Obviously, it's Dave Rubin's platform. Tulsi Gabbard just joined. Michael Mellis is on there. All sorts of people are on Locals. It's awesome. It's social media for adults. My community is growing so much now, so lots of fresh blood in there. We have great conversations. We have Zoom calls twice a week. And as a bonus, you can get all my videos ad-free on my Locals. Now, Locals is free to join. It's free to set up your account. It's free to join whatever community you want. It is free to get into my community and to watch my ad-free videos. But if you want to participate in the discussions, you do have to chip in a little bit. That's how they keep the trolls out. That's how they keep the community safe. And that's only $5 a month. If you want to try it out and see if you like it or not, you can use the code FREE SPEECH, all one word, FREE SPEECH, it as the promo code when you sign up for my community, and that will give you a free month of all the additional features, and you can decide if it's worth chipping in for you. For some of you, it may be. For some of you, it may not be. But you're always welcome to stay in as a free account and at least see what's going on and have a place that we can go to when big tech comes for all of us. All right, guys, that's all I have for right now. I'll see you soon.